Should we look at some shots?
Let's look at some shots.
Before I switch over, slight spoilers for Arcane season 2. This eighth episode,
Seventh
I
episode.
think. Seventh episode?
Yeah.
Seventh episode. All right, you've been warned. Arcane season 2, somewhat spoilers. All right, Colton, take us away.
Anyway,
Take it
Bryan
away,
Cranston
yeah.
is in Arcane season 2. Yeah.
He's
What'd you
so
bring us, Colton?
animated. He looks, just gives all performance of a lifetime. Um, I chose this shot in particular because it was probably my favorite episode out of the whole season because they kind of focused on two characters to begin with, and their arcs kind of encapsulated the whole episode, and it didn't feel like it was whiplashing between storylines or jumping to. So I really like this episode. Anyways, I like the shot in particular too because not only just did it look pretty, the story beat was really cool, and the editing that they did, or choice of animation, frame rate, um, was perfect because it was only 4 frames a second, and that tied into Echo's character and thematic. And was thematically relevant because in the game he can control time or go back in time by 4 seconds, and ultimately this scene is that him and Powder or Jinx are lovers in this universe, and he unfortunately is enemies with her in his own universe. So it's kind of like lovers that couldn't be the classic Romeo and Juliet. But yeah, it was just a really cool scene, and the music was great, and I thought it was beautifully lit, deposited, and props to the team for making still a great looking show. But
Yeah, it was a very it felt like the 4 frames a second, like you're saying, like it didn't. It's like that's at a point where it's like too slow to feel like choppy, and like
yeah,
it didn't feel it felt like very smooth still. Because I think
yeah,
if I remember right, like they still had like things kind of like moving well, like it would be like kind of still frames of them, like stuff was kind of moving. I think
yeah.
so.
There
Like
was
it
definitely
was
some
still,
offsets for sure. Yeah,
yeah, it was very
When they mix up
very
frame
well done.
rates between different elements or something.
I think so. From
yeah,
I can't quite remember. Like it
Or
was
the
kind of like
the
they
environment's
were freezing and
24
like
and
shifting, but then like it's still like kind of like the lights were like spinning around. It was very like
right.
flashings of like memories almost kind of thing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was very very cool. I know like the rest of the show very
the background is
very
moving
pretty.
slower, or at least it looks more fluid than their frame rate. So
Right.
that could definitely be helping.
Yeah.
Even though like the lens flares seem to be on different.
I feel like that's a common trope. Like, or not trope, or just like style, especially when you go to stop motion or you go into slow
Mm.
mo, is you keep like some of the technical stuff moving at 24, like the lighting or light interactions or whatever else. You keep moving
Yeah.
at 24 frames a
It's
second,
kind of
and you drop
like the
stuff to
example
436.
of the shots we looked at before of like Hela and like her whatever that was those really cool trippy shots of like Hela in the Thor Ragnarok where she's
Mm-hmm.
killing all the Valkyrie or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's all slow motion stuff, but they have like the light rig like spinning around them constantly, so it's all slow motion. But then like all
Yeah.
the trippy shadows are like
Right.
kind of like
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah, because they spin the sun direction
yeah,
Yeah.
for the portal,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, that, again, like just mixing again, like the technical speed is 24
mm-hmm.
still,
Yeah.
but like animation and beat timing, they do on a different speed. That's always kind of cool.
Yeah. So I was a
Cool,
big fan
cool.
of that. We can get into an Arcane discussion a little bit after Cade shot
Yeah.
here,
Once
but yeah,
yeah,
go
and we'll
for it.
probably get into it more too once Kari gets back and
Yeah.
watches the season as well. We'll probably do a bigger breakdown of some stuff. There's some shots I want to talk about too, but they're kind of more spoilery, so
Mhm.
we'll wait
Good.
for those. And I brought a shot from Breaking Bad.
Woo.
I believe this is season 5, episode 9.
Mhm.
I think
There's 6 seasons in total.
5.
Oh,
This
there's
is
six,
the
5 seasons. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, this looks very late in the game.
yeah. I
Yeah.
believe this is the beginning of the second half of the 5th season, where he it starts with him, I think in the diner where he gets like his like 50. You see, it's been like a year that's passed or something. You see like his
Oh,
bacon on his
52nd birthday. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that, yeah. But this is him in the bathroom looking at himself in the mirror, and they do there's a lot of cool shots in Breaking Bad, whether it be like POV of like objects that they're working with, or like a lot of these were like
Mhm.
there's one earlier in the season where I'm pretty sure it's him in the show where he like punches the like the air dryer in like a public bathroom where it gets all like dented. I'm pretty sure you see his face in that as well, where it's all usually like around like him changing or kind of how he sees himself kind of thing like this. Like you the episode very much starts off of being like kind of similar to the first episode where it's his like 50th birthday and he gets his bacon on his pancakes, and now it's the same thing, only he clearly can't recognize himself or like who he's become anymore.
How to turn your life upside down in just 2 years.
Make math.
Matt.
Yeah.
This is one of those shows where I feel like I know most of the story points
Mhm.
through just being under discussion about it, and also all the shorts. You know what I mean? Like I've probably watched
Yeah.
a bit from every episode. I've watched the
Mm.
first like 2 seasons. I tried it again.
It's Calvin. I would recommend
I
honestly.
cannot stand
just-
Skylar as a character. I don't.
That's the
I
thing,
have
though,
no
is that
interest in
you've been
If somebody did a cut without her in it, I would watch it.
you have been gaslit to hate her character by
No,
kind
dude.
of
When I didn't know anything about the show, the first time I watched it, I didn't know anything about the show, and it was like the 3rd or 4th time that she was involved. I was like, I'm done. This character is horrendous. Yeah, I just hated her. I literally
Okay.
remember Googling when do they kill off Skylar, and I was
Oh my
hoping it
God.
would be like episode 10, and it wasn't. And I was like, I'm not watching this anymore. I
he
hated
has
it.
to provide for his family. If anything, honestly, just watch season 4 and 5.
I'm
If
not.
you-
I'm not disagreeing with that mechanic. I just think Skylar's a narcissistic
Mechanic.
mechanic. I just think
Mechanic.
Scarlett's narcissistic and illogical. It's just like so frustrating. And again, it's like, oh, it's about real people. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want your show to be about real people. I don't need to deal with that shit. Anyways, that's my rant over.
Oh boy. Okay,
Anyways.
Calvin. Anyways,
Cool shot.
it's a good show. Great shot. Yeah. Metaphors. Symbolism.
Nice.